And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching us from. Welcome back to the StarLadder StarSeries Season 14 presented by iLeague. My name is Blue. I'm going to be casting this best of 3 set. Only one set today, unfortunately, and it's probably going to end up being a quick one. This was supposed to be SK versus TSM, but I believe SK have had to drop out due to the stuff that's been going on with their roster. So we've had a fill-in by the name of Kappa. And this is actually a Swedish roster. Quite a few names on it, too, for those of you who may have been keeping up. Jumpy, cajunb, hopefully I'm saying these names right. BARBARR, along with Højsleth, who was originally on Team Kingwin. Like, when the roster was first announced, he played for those guys a little bit. And also bringing on pauf, too, who there's been, specifically like from Andersen and people like that, there's been a lot of people wanting to see this guy do well. So hopefully he gets a nice little chance to shine this evening once again. But he's actually going to be joining this team. And as well, he played for the Swedish roster in the World Championships, which happened just about, like, I think it was like 2 weeks ago now. I should know I was there, but yeah, I think it was about like 2 weeks ago. But anyway, it's going to be over here on Overpass. Pretty volatile map to start things off on. This is going to be our first map. It's a best of 3, of course, as well. And then we'll jump over from Overpass over towards Dust 2, which was the GreyFace pick. Mirage is going to be our third map that was randomized. Obviously, just looking at purely the reputation behind a lot of these teams and what exactly people can come to expect. Pretty big favor, by the way, of TSM, considering as well how close we are to the major and whatnot. These guys are probably going to be in their top shape. Imagine they're going to want to have a little bit of fun with this game, but we will we'll basically just have to wait and see. But I can expect some good things to come out of this, the Kappa team. I'm probably going to call it the Kappa team for most of today, by the way. But overall, obviously, I'm not exactly sure like how long you guys have been playing together. As far as I'm still recognized, there's still like a couple of these guys that are officially recognized as being on other teams, at least according to like Half-Life TV and whatnot. So I'm not particularly sure if they just threw this together to try and get into the StarLadder StarSeries and see how well they could do, or whatever. But we'll find out as we're going to be jumping into the matchup right now, folks. So let's get to it. It's GreyFace / Kappa versus TSM. Obviously, a very heavily favored matchup into the Danish roster's favor. And we'll be starting off with TSM jumping onto the T side over here. GreyFace is going to be starting off on CT, and oh! Alright, I lied. We're not starting yet. Seems there's a problem. Man, Cap is already trolling us here. We haven't even started yet, dude. That's like the second time they've paused the game. Okay, now we're going to try this for a third time. Let's see if we can go for it without any further issues now. Here we start, guys. Yes? Maybe? Let's hope so. Also, a bit of an advanced apologies, by the way. There is an air pressurizer outside of my window right now that may randomly go off. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it or not, but if you start randomly hear a buzzing sound, that's probably just my air pressurizer that's outside. I can't really do much about that. It's not mine, I should say, it's my neighbor's. If you hear that, I do apologize for it. But anyway, to start things off here in the pistol round, BARBARR from GreyFace gonna open things up, picks up the headshot over here onto dupreeh. cajunb gonna wrap himself over here through the bathroom connector too to try to find a shot at the cajunb, and it's gonna take him down. More support coming in here is TSM looking for the lockdown, not gonna try to let these CTs escape back over there to get onto their site, and this is obviously gonna be a bit of a mistake now from the CT side of things, as BARBARR's gonna end up being one of the last players alive here. He just managed to sort of wiggle out of his situation by managing to take down one of the players from TSM. As he takes him down now, kind of stuck inside a playground here, looking for more reinforcements to come in, but obviously making a very awkward split. He's going to pop out, get some nice shots going over there on a cajunb, almost take him down. And now for the rest of these guys, we can see they're going to start falling back. Trying to get themselves and trying to eliminate BARBARR here before he can do any more damage, or at the very least open up a flanking opportunity, but they won't be finding that just as of yet. And for Jumpy here too, he's going to look to try and take down cajunb, catches him, so that's going to be nicely done. And also, BARBARR shuts down karrigan, so that flank works out perfectly. They take out pretty much everybody on TSM now, and it's all going to be on Zipnix to try and clutch this one out. And while all this is going on, he's stuck way inside of, like, CT main right now on the B site, so there's not a whole lot he can try to do to stop this from happening. He's going to have to go back over here to try and retrieve that bomb, but unfortunately, as soon as he opens that door, he's going to have a nasty surprise waiting for him in the way of BARBARR, so gonna try to kill him, and he's gonna succeed in doing so, and well, that's gonna be a 4K from BARBARR, and a very interesting play that comes out there from Kappa, and ends up working out pretty great, to be completely honest, and they shut it down. They split TSM right from the get-go. TSM tried to unsplit it and try to actually box them in, but it only ends up worsening it for themselves, and they kind of screw themselves over in that regard. So TSM not with the greatest start here on T side, but now we have to see how they build upon it, as they're going to go for the aggressive buy-up right into the second round here now. Deagles, Tech-9s, all with armor behind it too. Not a whole lot of utility. dupreeh, the only player that's going to go up here and buy up anything that would be indicative of really utility, and that would just be that one little flash here. But obviously, GreyFace goes for the big upgrades. However, dupreeh getting those shots out nice and early, gets the headshot on BARBARR, the player that almost executed everybody from TSM in the previous round. That's going to take him down. And now they've got a little bit of an opportunity to maybe just swing this back around. A lot more work needs to be done, though. And obviously with the big guns still in play here for a majority of GreyFace here, they can still do a lot of work. He's going to spot some of these players over here. Karrigan and Xipnix as well. You can see they're trying to connect some of that damage back over onto these guys, but can't really take them down. Long range P90, not really going to be able to be as impactful, of course, as a rifle could be in that situation. But there's pauf now, getting the kill on a Dave's. Oh, apologies, that's, shit, it's Device. So, they're going to be able to take him down now, and as the rest of these players from TSM push forward, they're going to be able to take down Højsleth. That takes him out of the play. Kabomb from up top there, he's going to be able to find the kill over on a karrigan. Now for the rest of these guys as well, they're going to try to find their way into the site. Kabomb and Jumpy along with pauf here, trying to defend it, but TSM slowly making progress on trying to get into here. But not going to be able to catch it just as of yet. They end up pulling back. They've got about 30 seconds left on the clock, so they should have enough time to rotate themselves over towards the A site there. But at the same time, GreyFace is obviously going to be able to spot this one coming, so they themselves will rotate it in. We're all here, to be honest. TSM struggling a little bit, as we would expect on this second round, but still making a nice impact. dupreeh with this rifle, still going to be able to do a decent amount of impact here, too, as he tries to take down these players and rotate. But nonetheless, Xipnix gets on point. He's going to be able to plant that bomb. Pops out with the P90, finishes it off. The response from Kabomb, and then dupreeh picking up another one as well. And now it's just pauf with 3 HP. dupreeh's going to try to flank him. He won't be able to find it, but he's in a tough spot here now because TSM, they've got that secure plant position, and pauf with only 3 HP. There's not a whole lot that he's going to be able to do to try to stop this from actually going down. So he has to push forward, try to find out these players, and obviously he's very overexposed. dupreeh's already found him out, so he's going to fall back. He might just try to save it, to be completely honest here. There's not really anything else he could try to do about this, and it would be very, very wise to keep that rifle in play now that their economy is essentially going to be reset at this point, but might be end up being a little bit close to the bomb explosion. He's got to try to jump out, and he's actually going to watch out jumping down from there, but unfortunately for pauf, won't be able to make it out of the site in time, so he's going to end up falling down there. No survivors at all from the side of Kappa, and for TSM, they're going to steal away the round in a pretty big way here, too, because they get a couple free pickups off of the hands of that one. So now you can already see this coming into play onto these guys. They immediately upgrade on everybody at cajunb over here. They'll go for the rifles almost immediately after that. cajunb is still going to stick with the MAC-10 here, just to try and stack up a little bit of extra cash here for these guys. But for the players over on GreyFace, they're not really going to be able to do too much this time around. Just back down and basically do the same way that TSM did to try and restrict them a little bit more and get that early extra response out. But we will have to see if that will be a possibility, because TSM, I think, underestimated GreyFace's capabilities here in the first round, and now to kick it into a little bit more of a high gear going into the second, and now they're going to take this match a little bit more seriously. Xipnix opens up things here once again for TSM by finding an opening frag over on the Jumpy in order to take him down. So now again, they're trying to press their way forward. They do still have a potential wedge in their way here, which would be pauf, who's again going to open things up there with a 5-7 shot over on a cajunb. He's going to look for another one over here on a karrigan in a second. Meanwhile, Xipnix still making some good progress too. And also, he's got that MAC-10, but that flash did not go where it needed to at all. karrigan gets the blind kill on a pauf in order to take him down. Now you're just down to BARBARR and Kabomb left alive, and I do want to check to make sure I'm saying these names right. Yeah, it looks like it. BARBARR and Kabomb still is the final two left alive here for the members of GreyFace. And now TSM basically just going to walk their way into that A site. Unfortunately for GreyFace, they still think that there's going to be a presence coming down here to B, so they would have hoped they could have killed that at least and gotten an upgrade or two, but that's not going to be happening. They're going to have to save for at least one more round, so won't be too wise to try and go in and look for exits or anything like that. They want to make sure that they can keep themselves alive. So now is going to be the best opportunity for them to fall back, try and save those pistols, and hopefully when their team is essentially going to be on a full eco round, they are going to be able to pick up a couple extra guns here now and have those to maybe score up a couple more kills and prevent TSM's economy from growing in a very, very large way. Also, seeing Kabomb here pick up the MAC-10 is a pretty big deal, because that gun can do quite a bit of stopping power here if you're not expecting them to have it, and unless, unless Device is going to catch on to the fact that this has been picked up down here now, then they may not even realize that they have this in play, especially if he doesn't have to end up fighting Device post-round, but Device may end up forcing the envelope a little bit here. Doesn't look like it. Does make a little bit of noise, but Device doesn't end up pushing into him there, so he'll make it out without anybody realizing he's picked that up. I imagine Device will have a pretty good idea that somebody picked that up, but not really sure if the game sense is like 100% turned up right now for TSM, so they may just be a little bit lackluster on realizing things like that. And now this may give Højsleth a little bit more of a chance to catch something like this, or catch a couple extra players here from TSM and do some damage to the economy. But he's not going to get in their face here, too, because a MAC-10 long-range battle versus an AK, more than likely the AK is going to come out on top 9 times out of 10. But GreyFace go for a big 4-man stack over here onto the A site in hopes of getting directly in the way of the push from TSM. Might end up working out. You can see there's a good amount of presence here over on short A at this point, trying to work their way into bathrooms from within the lower park. More players coming up from connector as well. It's going to be Device along with cajunb as they try to work their way up there. For those players on GreyFace, not going to overexpose themselves just yet. Houghton sitting behind Semi, and then they're just going to keep Jumpy back down over here. Jumpy, interestingly enough, armed up with the USP, and he's going to have to make that call. You would think, too, that if he's going to make this call, he's going to make it very, very early because he's only got that USP, so he won't really be able to hold off all that much. But the smoke started to come out over here onto the A site. Nobody from GreyFace is even going to budge. So they get actually a very, very good read on the situation. Now it's about opening up those kills. Kaboom spots a couple of the players, but he gets spotted out as well, I do believe. Nade goes deep. It hits dupreeh pretty hard there, bringing him down to 68 HP, but along with Dave's or Device over there too, bringing him down to 60, but that's going to be Device opening things up. He finds a shot into Kaboom, and now they're rolling into the site. And they're slowly executing these players. Houghton's falling with the Mac 10 as well, so not really going to expect too much else to come from them. But BARBARR, at the very least, picks up that kill, but he's very, very fastly traded out, and now it's just Jumpy with the USP. Well, I'm imagining, again, he doesn't have anything this round, so if he dies, it's not too big of a deal. Should have been able to spot Zipnix there, but I don't think Zipnix spotted him. So he could just open up a flank and get a kill there. And if he can find dupreeh on the way out, that could be another opportunity too. But if he does kill Zipnix right here, obviously dupreeh's probably just going to retreat down through the tunnels and get himself on a B site where it'll be a lot safer. And we'll see here in just a second. There you go, but oh no! Jumpy had the perfect headshot lined up, but he hesitates, trying to wait for him to see him, or trying to get a little bit greedy there, and he just turns around and is able to execute it before he can execute himself, so that's going to be a bit of a missed opportunity there, and now they don't get that kill. TSM go up 3-1. And I believe everybody but one person is going to stay alive from TSM in comparison to losing actually 2 players that time around. So now GreyFace still down behind a little bit here after dropping that second round after their pistol here. Gives TSM a pretty solid lead, but now they're going to go into the gun rounds, and we can already see them coming into the picture here. Jumpy opens things up with a kill over there onto karrigan in order to take him down. BARBARR looking for a way to response himself out, and we still have a very active presence down over here on the B site too. Zipnix is trying to look for this kill over onto Jumpy after he's picked up somebody, and now he's got the op as well. I'm not sure if that was dropped from karrigan. It seems that's the case, and actually no, apologies, it's coming off the Vice right now, so it did get dropped from TSM, and I can only assume that came from karrigan, but now he's going to be able to do some work with this. He's going to drop Zipnix as well, and TSM down to 3 players. dupreeh looking for the shots up into heaven to hopefully catch some of these guys, but there's no way into that site as of right now, unless they just use all of their utility to find the way in, so they're going to have to go back. They're going to have to retrieve that bomb, but here's the problem. Jumpy's there with the op, and he's going to pick up an additional kill into dupreeh now. Device at least is getting some work done, as he's going to be able to take down pauf and eliminate him, but now it's cajunb and Device as the final 2 up and rolling. Not really solidified. They've got no way to pick up that bomb without really losing themselves here. cajunb, thankfully, is able to hop and skip his way through that. Has to use the smoke to get himself out of here without taking too much damage, but now that timer's gotten so low as well that they might just be forced into going for a B site take, and so far these guys have been doing a great job of holding it. Houghton sitting right outside of the monster tunnel here, and then Jumpy again armed with that op. The smokes come out. Houghton finds the one coming in for construction, and now cajunb, just no way at all that he's going to be able to find his way into this site. He's going to fall back, get himself over here into the sewers, and hopefully try to find a way to retreat back out, because otherwise he's going to lose that armor, he's going to lose that AK, he's going to lose everything he's got right now. And once again here, that's not going to be too good an overall for the economy. He's probably one of the lowest players on his team too, so wants to make sure that he can get himself out of here and not take all that damage. But BARBARR sneaking down, going to try to see if he can find Cajun. He pops out there. They do end up hitting him through the wall, and then BARBARR is actually going to be able to just jump out and finish him off nice and easily. So that takes him down. And now GreyFace are going to be able to strike right back here now, bringing things up to 2-3. For TSM, though, thankfully, because of how clean their previous couple rounds were, they're, for the most part, going to be able to get another competent buyout here. And Zipnix, of course, armed with so much money, he's just going to be able to drop that extra AK over there on a cajunb. So everybody back up to AKs. No op, unfortunately, this time. Not really going to see too much of it being done in the previous round, of course. But now we see the full AKs getting back in their hands. Full utility as well, so they're going to get another opportunity to try and work this. But the shot from Jumpy already coming back in here now. So Zipnix, once again, is going to be one of the first players to be eliminated. pauf inside of the bathrooms. Catches some over-aggression there from karrigan. We see BARBARR trying to jump out. Device will be able to handle him, but Kaboom is able to respond to that one, and Device, unfortunately, is not going to be able to pick up the second kill, so they take him down, and this round's pretty much already over, unfortunately. The final 2 players from TSM, they're split up. pauf finding this additional kill over here on dupreeh is going to take him down, and now it's just cajunb, who, to be honest, might be disconnecting right now. I'm seeing the pause come out from Device, and this position doesn't make any sense. You can see his movement is kind of like... Yeah, that's a ripperoo on cajunb right there. Waiting for him to stutter his way. Essentially just waiting for the DC here. So, GreyFace will get the 3rd round. Obviously, this is not really impacting things too much, I don't think. I'm not sure when exactly he sort of lost this connection, but oh no. pauf. Oh, there's the knife. Thank God. That could have been bad. Alright, well, he's going to take him down. That's going to end the round, and yeah, it looks like cajunb is disconnected, so I'm probably going to have a little bit of a pause here, just to wait for him to re-establish his internet and get himself back into this game really quickly. So that'll remain tied up at 3-3 for now. Like I said, I don't think his disconnect is going to affect the round outcome too much. I I imagine we'll give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that he did start lagging out there at the beginning of the round, so I imagine there could have been a little bit more pressure that could have come from Connector, and that could have changed up the dynamic of it a little bit, but still, already within the first few seconds of the ground, GreyFace was already scoring frags, specifically Jumpy. And again, this is only a couple rounds with the op, but already we've been seeing a phenomenal job being worked with that op by Jumpy here, picking up, 3 kills as soon as he grabs it off an opponent, and then now getting another one there too. Some really great shots from him, and I can only hope we're going to end up seeing more of that now. So unfortunately, going to make things a little bit more harder here for TSM, and they won't be in the clear just as of yet, as I think a lot of people were expecting with this sort of tossed together Swedish roster here, with Huten, Pauf, BARBARR, cajunb, and Jumpy. Interesting set of names. So we're just gonna wait for that reconnect to come in. Not a whole lot else to add here, unfortunately, as with the rounds being traded back and forth. We don't really have a very good dynamic in terms of what exactly is happening here at this point, and unfortunately, just due to my lapse of history in terms of casting EU games, my lapse of history in European CS as well, there's not a whole lot I can add beyond this about some of the other players on this roster. Obviously, some big stories that come out from this one. We would be expecting Device to be performing very well, but again, only 6 rounds, apologies, in at this point, so can't really look at the scoreline and be like, oh, well, Device is doing a great job right now, leading by fragging power, everybody's best player in the world, or whatever people are talking about with him recently. You can't really bring that up right now. So while we're gonna wait for that final player to get himself reconnected, guys, I'm just gonna kick up the tunes really quick, and as soon as he's back in, as soon as we're on pause, we will resume the cast. Do apologize for that, but we'll be back in just a sec.
That is constantly changing. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. That is constantly changing. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. Always rearranging.
Alright guys, sorry about that. We are back now. cajunb's reconnected to the game, so we're going to get ourselves back into this one now. TSM going back onto another eco round for themselves here. Mainly Deagle's being bought up here on 3 of their players, and 2 P250s going onto both dupreeh and karrigan at this point. GreyFace pretty much armed to the teeth once again here now, and interestingly enough, BARBARR goes for his own buy-up of just a UMP this time, trying to stack up some frags going down over here into the tunnels. Doesn't really look like TSM are going to oblige that though, and Xyp9x finding the first kill of the round here. He's going to take it down, but pauf with a nice little one-tap there, takes out dupreeh, is able to line up the headshot in order to take him down, so now they get a response. Jumpy again with that up, finding an additional kill, and now pauf lines up another frag, survives the encounter with just 1 HP. Cajunb as well, after getting himself into a bit of a battle there too. He's going to make it out with very, very minimal health, but again, they just absolutely floor the members of TSM, bringing it down to just 1 single member left alive, which is going to be cajunb, trying to sneak himself through, but as we see there, BARBARR is going to, at the very least, get that 1 kill he was looking for to stack in the tunnels. Not going to get more than that one, though, so fortunately not really going to be getting anything in addition to this one. And for TSM now, they'll segue this one into another gun round for themselves. But unfortunately for Device, you look at him, he's actually doesn't look like he's going to be able to get too much here. There is an op on the ground for him, so he's going to be able to pick that one up here. It has to be donated by a teammate, and again, he sort of shuffled the guns around there too, as I believe he tossed an AK over on his Xyp9x, but we'll see how this one pans out, because the last time they got it op, and they only had it one more time before this, it got eliminated pretty quickly, and it got into the hands of Jumpy, and he's been using that op, I believe, ever since then, having not dropped, so maybe we're going to try to possibly reclaim that this time if Device will look for those kills. But Xyp9x will be back over here. Obviously, that's smoke in the way, so Jumpy nor Xyp9x are going to be able to find any opening frags for themselves here at this point. But there's going to be karrigan. He lines up a little bit over aggression there and is able to find pauf out. So another player of GreyFace getting taken down here very fast. And Now for the members of GreyFace 2, they have to split themselves up 2-2. No solidified push coming out from the members of TSM just yet, but they are potentially lining up to work their way into the B site, at least make some noise in there. The bomb's still sitting just outside of the steps near Party as they try to work their way, and they still have to make the decision to where they're going to want to take that bomb, but karrigan will make the call. He's going to head over here towards long A, so they are going to have to rotate their players back up, and that push will end up coming back over here towards this site. Got 2 players here. Kabal will be watching out towards the long push, and BARBARR inside of the bathrooms will keep his eyes out for a push from this direction too. So he's going to keep his eyes out. dupreeh trying to move his way into this one. Looking out for this one. He's going to get lined up on a headshot there, and he's going to take things down, but very quickly traded out by cajunb, and now the take is going to be on. More players rotating their way up onto the site here now. Kabal lining up. He takes down one more coming in here. He's going to try to find that second one, and he grabs it over there on the device. Finally, Xyp9x finds the trade, but now it's a 2-on-2. Jumpy, though, a little bit slow in that rotation, still way down at B, so they're going to be able to get control, and they should get the plant. Højsleth as well, still stuck down below in the basement of the bank. He's not going to be able to find any spot to move back in, but there's Jumpy rolling his way back up here, looking to line up a shot in a cajunb, but not keeping his eyes peeled back over there towards the semi just as of yet. They haven't spotted him, and just missing the opportunity to find the shot there too. And cajunb's going to come in finding both of the kills. Højsleth at least found one of the trades, but that's not going to be enough. And TSM do end up coming out on top there, and now they're going to tie things back up at 4 points. And now, again, as we take a look at the economy from both teams, GreyFace still in a good position to go for their buy. Not only is Jumpy going to be able to pick up his op once again, but BARBARR is going to be able to go for one this time as well. So both of these guys are going to be able to pick that up. And now for the members here, the rest of the members, I should say, of GreyFace. 3-4 still on the table. TSM, actually, despite picking up the round victory there, not really going to be in too solid of a spot financially just as of yet. You can see this by taking a look at dupreeh along with Xyp9x. They're down to a Galil along with the Deagle over there on dupreeh, so they're not really in too good of a spot as of yet. GreyFace is still very much so in the lead, and BARBARR just missing that shot there over on the device in order to take him down. Leaves him with just 20 HP. He's going to end up surviving the encounter there, and now he falls back. Xyp9x looking to line up anybody through Monster, which would mainly be Jumpy, who's been playing this angle for the previous 2 rounds as well, but they're not going to catch him there. And now more progress being made by the members of TSM. cajunb trying to sneak his way up through here to check out what's going on in Connector. There is a little bit of a forward push that's come out from the members of GreyFace here. Obviously, you've got BARBARR over here watching out with the op as he tried to take that shot earlier. Gabalm here assisting him as well in case the take comes in quickly, but unfortunately now it's going to come onto that B site, and they're not prepared for this one at all. Both the members on this site are actually back over here inside of CT main, and the smoke wall just completely prevents them from getting anything, so they get a completely free take essentially without having to go into any combat at all. karrigan's going to push through. He's now in the pit, and he's got a pretty good idea as to when things are going to get pushed towards him and his teammates there, so it should be a fairly simplistic hold on this one. I don't expect them to do too much, and not only this, but you've got cajunb going for a flank right now, too, to take out some more players. Device already finding one shot over here onto BARBARR to take him down. Xyp9x finding another one over here on a Jumpy. See, Højsleth tries to push into karrigan, but karrigan executes him. pauf finds the trade, and now cajunb opens up that flanking opportunity by taking down pauf, and it's just Kabom now. He's stuck inside of CT main here. He's going to try to get a response kill, but not going to be able to find it. dupreeh takes him down with a Deagle, and TSM come out on top. They do lose one more player there, I should note, at the end of the round, as Xyp9x is going to end up falling, but still a very clean round from those guys, and now they're going to take the lead back. They don't predict the economy just yet. For most players, unfortunately, on the side of Kappa here, they're not really going to be able to go for their buy. But as we are going to see, that's going to lead to them getting called out for an eco anyway. But there's still about 2 to 3 players that probably could have forced up with a rifle if they wanted to go for that. But already going for 2 rifle rounds in a row here wouldn't have been the most beneficial thing to them to do such a thing. And now they just end up holding back and playing the economical long game here. They're just going to want to save up so that they can go for the rifle and not buy-ups in the next round without having any trouble to that one. So probably a walkover round here coming out for the members of TSM. They're just going to be able to get up to 6 points pretty easily. No armor, no utility on GreyFace, so can't really expect them to do too much. They are taking up a little bit more of a forward positioning to try and catch them, but already, of course, losing pauf here very early on as he plays that forward bathroom spot almost every single round, and obviously he's going to be very easily found out now by the members of TSM. cajunb catching them down by B2, and now all the defenses by the B side are essentially gone at this point. Højsleth's moved up, and he's going to try to catch some players at bathroom or on the rotate here, but you can already see the device is sitting here just at the bottom of the stairs waiting for this exact thing to happen, because he's going to miss that shot, but he's got a Tech 9 ready to go in his secondary weapon slot, so as they roll down, he finds that kill. More support coming in here, too. And he's even lined up to catch this player that's jumping down BARBARR. He actually catches the headshot there in a little bit of a crazy trade, but won't be able to run away with the op as karrigan catches him before he gets back up the staircase. So they reclaim that, and now it's just Kabom back over here on the A site. Not really a whole lot he can do, obviously. So he's going to sit back, save that Deagle. Probably should be able to save it. Everybody from TSM is over here in this area of the map, so they won't be able to catch him. They're all just sitting back and holding their spots, just looking out for Kabom and push into them, which I don't believe he's going to do. At the very least, he'll take that Deagle in the next round. Not really like he's saving a whole lot just as of yet, but we'll find that out in the next round too, if they do end up deciding to double save or if they just go for the buy. And yep, they should just be able to go for a buy here. They're still in a good spot. to go for that one. So we'll see the op picked up by pauf. Tossed over to BARBARR. Interesting, to be completely honest, it's not getting thrown over onto Jumpy because of the fact that Jumpy, I mean, we've seen him with the op. I'm not sure. I have no clue the primary operators for this team, but I mean, Jumpy with the rounds he was working with the op, he was doing a fantastic job with it. So it's a little bit surprising to see, you know, that they're just going to hand that over to BARBARR and give him a chance to work that. So now for the members here of TSM, they're going to open things up with a strong kill for themselves. Houghton tries to just go for a direct push over there inside of sewers. They're not going to find him, but there's BARBARR. He's going to pick up an opening kill for his team over on the device in order to take him down. That's the second time he's tried to line that up, and this time, of course, goes a lot more swimmingly than the previous one. So they're going to catch a kill there. Some good damage going on to the members of TSM here, too. Both karrigan and cajunb, or not karrigan, apologies, dupreeh and cajunb have been brought down fairly low at this point, 22 and 55 HP, so they won't be able to play as aggressively as I think they would have liked to here for a lot of this round. And now GreyFace have a pretty good hold going at this point. Not a whole lot of map progress being taken here by the members of TSM either. But at the same time, we can see here that karrigan is trying to sneak his way over here towards A long to catch some of these guys out, but pauf putting himself into a position to try to catch some of this. He can't spot any of it just yet, but we can see now that member from TSM is going to rotate back down to try and regroup with his teammates anyways. They are still fully committed to trying to go for this B take at this point. And they'll line up for the grenades now. It's going to hit Jumpy a little bit on the way in there, and actually, what the hell? That nade went down inside of that little hole there. So that smoke doesn't affect him at all. And now Kabom's going to pick up that kill. karrigan finds the other one. And there's Jumpy with another one too. That smoke unfortunately just completely fails, and now they have no coverage on this site. There's Jumpy looking to line up an additional kill over here on a cajunb. He's going to toss the volley out to force a reposition, but he still should be able to get himself into a superior spot. Not only this, BARBARR found the option over there into dupreeh. And yeah, that unfortunately for TSM, they tried to line up that smoke, but I think it bounced off of, I think it was BARBARR, or was that BARBARR or Jumpy? I think it was Jumpy actually. The nade like bounced off of him and it went into that little hole there. And I think it completely killed the smoke, so that smoke doesn't really obscure anything at all. And now members of GreyFace will once again be able to strike back here. They keep it close on the CT side of Overpass, and now line it up to 5-6. So TSM will take things nice and slow once again, but for this time, BARBARR getting very aggressive. He moves up and is going to be able to catch karrigan out. Already a kill going by the way of Kappa. And now he's just going to fall back happy with this kill that he's been able to claim for himself. Device looking for a response. This one almost going to catch pauf out, but a little bit of trouble there finding the couple final shots. So pauf is going to be given the opportunity to retreat back over here onto the A site. The rest of the members of GreyFace 2 just trying to fall back a little bit. They're going to give TSM some room to breathe, and already with 2 kills going in their direction, they have no reason to worry. And as well here, they don't really want to be giving away any free frags to the members of TSM, as that can obviously be a big amount of leeway that you're going to give to your opponents. They can't really afford to do that here and there. They need to make sure that they can keep this game as close as possible so that they can try to get themselves into an advantage position here. As, to be honest, again, obviously with this being a fairly CT-centric map, you would expect them to pick up as many rounds as possible here, but when they get into that T side, things are going to get a lot harder. And hopefully with the more stable positions, we could see some of those more all-star players over there on the side of TSM, like Device and whatnot, that would be able to shine for themselves. So now we're going to see that takes. Try to start over here onto the A site, but the rotations from Köhler are coming in so quickly. pauf ready for this one, but no! cajunb is going to find the headshot in order to take him down. Now they get an opportunity to plant. They're still forced off, and this is a problem before too, is they weren't really proactively looking to try and defend their sites here. So they're held back. They're sitting in bank, or they're sitting behind the APC at this point. Now they're going to try to get the boost up to try and catch some of these players, but Device safely behind it. They won't be able to see him from that boosted position. He's not going to be able to catch them either, granted, but now there's Zipnix and cajunb finding 2 kills, Device finding another one, and just like that, the entire defense force of Kappa has just gone by the wayside. They're all dead, and it's just Houghton now, stuck inside of the basement of the bank. He's going to have to try to watch out for anybody that would push into him, but all he can hope to do at this point is scavenge that AK, so a great take from TSM, and they turn that round completely back into their favor. And that is going to be an absolutely ginormous loss for the members of GreyFace now, because that was, obviously, they opened it up with 2 free kills in their favor, some good damage too. Obviously, some of their members had taken a little bit of heat, but they still had stable positions being held. They knew where the site take was going to come from. They had everybody rotated back up there, but that just doesn't end up going their way, as TSM finds some really good entry, specifically coming up there with dupreeh and karrigan finding those opening headshots. I think it was actually cajunb that picked that one up. Just one taps their opponents, knocks them out. There goes the semi-defense, and then from that point forward, the Molly finishing off one of the more injured players along with another kill just leaves Houghton as the last player left alive. And now they're going to kick it into high gear once again because they should have a pretty good idea that GreyFace's economy is essentially going to be crap at this point. Device already picking up one kill over on a Jumpy. Houghton's the only one with really any big guns at this point because he's saved from the previous round, didn't end up going down, thankfully. And now Houghton's going to look to try and respond to that, but he immediately gets dropped, so there goes pretty much any semblance of defense that GreyFace could have had. They're going to have to try to save at this point for the most part, as they're already in that site. They've got a full 5 players in there. Not really anybody looking for the flag except for Zipnik's over here, who's sitting underneath of the tracks. And he'll be trying to catch up BARBARR if he ends up pushing over into him. We'll see in a second if that ends up panning out. They've spotted him though, so I imagine BARBARR's going to fall back, and Zipnik tries to push out. Doesn't catch him, but he's going to re-peek for some reason there, and Zipnik is going to pick up that kill as well. dupreeh also found the other kill onto the... I forget who it was that had the AK picked up there, but he finds a kill on him, and again, it's just pauf as the final player left alive. So I imagine he's going to go down here, maybe to try and reclaim this AK once again, and he will get it. Thankfully, again, everybody from TSM did the haul back, so they're not going to be able to catch him. So they keep that AK on the team. They can scavenge that at the very least, but still, we need to start seeing more than that now from the side of GreyFace. As obviously, TSM, they have the advantage regardless here when we switch halves up, and GreyFace are going to be relying on a very, very dominant T side to swing this game back into their favor here, even if they pick up these final 2 rounds, which one of them, at least here, not really going to be looking so good. They're going to have to go for a 6-round pickup off of an eco, which won't be looking so fine for themselves either. More than likely, a 9th point is in the future of TSM. And then from that point forward, we'll have just one more gun round on the final round to see if GreyFace can at the very least swing that one back. But with so much good economy coming out here from TSM as well, that's going to be hard. But Jumpy in a great spot, lines up the deagle shot, just going to rip dupreeh apart. karrigan looking for the response, is going to find Houghton, but not going to catch the kill on a Jumpy. Unfortunately for him, though, he goes back over here into the sewers, and cajunb is going to be able to find him out. And again, the take from TSM just so quick. No response is even possible from the members of GreyFace now. There's no way they're going to be able to get themselves back into that site. I imagine they may just attempt it because they're going to go for a buy here in the next round anyway, but still, TSM just like that so quick with the take. There's no way at all, and we've seen this in so many of our matchups here at StarLadder 2, where the takes from the superior teams just happen so quickly that the CT team just is given no time to react to it. They're given no way to call that out quickly enough, and unfortunately they're just given no choice but to save for the most part, even with what they have at this point. BARBARR and Kaboom, even though they're just on pistols, it's not going to be worth it to try and force it up here. There's no way in hell they're going to make that retake. BARBARR's trying to hold this angle and force some of these players to stay back within the site, waiting for the bomb to explode. He gets some good damage out with this one, and pauf's going to be able to finish off one of them, but unfortunately for him, karrigan is there to pick up the additional kill, so they finally lose that AK after saving it for like 3 rounds in a row. Nobody else is going to be able to scavenge that one up as they were too far away, and now they go into another buy round for themselves. Full utility and everything, so it's not too much off of their chest. They go back to this double op setup, which again, we didn't really see that doing all of that well the last time it's set up, because of the fact that they limited themselves on a utility spread. BARBARR and Jumpy will be the ones to pick that up, and the other 3 will go for the M4 buys, but now we have to see what TSM do. Are they going to respect their opponents a little bit more because of the fact that they've got this full buy working against, or are they just going to kick it into full gear, use the smoke setups, use everything they have to just roll into the site, essentially? And at least in the case of karrigan, no respect at all for upper mid over at this point, or upper A, I should say. But BARBARR already catching a kill, though, for his team. He's going to be able to take down the members over there. Device will end up falling as they eliminate him. And now, as we see here too, there's going to be a kill that comes by the way of karrigan. pauf lined up for that one though, and not expecting a second player to be on that site. They're going to catch a response, so GreyFace maintain the advantage for the time being. Now they're going to try to rotate him, but a great nade and spray comes out there from Houghton. He's going to be able to finish off dupreeh. pauf waiting for more with this op that he's now picked up 2 off of the dead corpse of dupreeh, I believe, but it's actually coming from BARBARR, but I think it transferred over towards him. And now TSM, which is these final 2 players left alive, they're going to try to find a way up onto this site. pauf taking some hits, though, so he's going to get dropped down pretty low, down to 36 HP. Doesn't even catch, though. Zipnik's not even going to catch pauf, though, as he's just sitting there by that plant, sitting there by that sign out in the open, so they're not going to be able to see him. Now the rest of GreyFace pretty much going to be able to be free to rotate up here, because now they've got full control of the bomb as well. It'll all be in the hands of cajunb to try to clutch this out, but odds are obviously not looking so good at this point. pauf safely inside of the bathrooms now, and as he rotates his way out, Kaboom is going to finish things off. There's GreyFace scavenging through with at least one more round before the half ends, but still 6-9, a very big advantage for the members of TSM, especially on T side over here as well. So now switching over to that CT side, we'll have to see just what GreyFace can align on their T side in order to try and swing things back into their advantage. I imagine, especially if we see GreyFace starting off with the pistol victory, I imagine that this may end up taking a couple rounds, just considering that obviously this is like a completely new roster. It may take a couple extra rounds here for TSM to really figure out exactly how GreyFace is going to be playing their offense, and if that's the case, and especially obviously if we can see GreyFace picking up the pistol here, then it is going to take TSM potentially like 5 or 6 rounds to really figure out how things are going here, and that could be a good leeway to allow GreyFace to get back into this game. But if they are able to respond to that quicker, or if they just absolutely win out the pistol round, which dupreeh's going to get a good start for that, then obviously The odds will not be looking so good, and we may just see a swift end of things here on the CT side for the members of TSM. But they're going to start things off, and we already see that kill coming out from dupreeh as he's pushed over there onto short A. He's going to be able to find that frag over on the pauf. The rest of these guys now slowing it down in a very big way after trying to make some movement. Looking for that way to get themselves over here onto the A site for the time being, but they're not going to be able to catch any breaks as of yet here. And TSM very quick on checking down towards the B site too, just to make sure that there's nothing coming in from there. Cajun even over here on the sewers too, so he's the one that's caught out that, yeah, it's probably not going to come B. You guys should be safe down here. But for GreyFace, they're now inside of the bathrooms, trying to commit themselves over here onto the upper site, trying to find their way in here, but as we see them pressing their way into this now, dupreeh looking for the shots, not going to be able to catch us. They get themselves up the staircase. There's Houghton finding a kill too to spawn onto device there. And dupreeh unfortunately overwhelmed by cajunb, so they're going to shut it down. And TSM not fully securing themselves on this A site now is going to leave them out in the open. Zipnik's looking for a response. He gets gooshed, but he finds a kill into BARBARR anyway. And now back over there in that corner, you're going to find cajunb, but he's going to get gooshed too there by karrigan. He takes him down. cajunb on the flank, now also catching a kill on a Jumpy. And unfortunately for the members of GreyFace, like many rounds in the past, it starts off great, but just goes to hell real quick. Now he's the final player left. He's looking for a kill, finds one over on a Zipnik to finish him off with only 2 HP. He's going to move back with only 13 seconds left. He needs to get this kill and plant the bomb. He's going to find that, so we're not done just yet. Now he's going to go for the planet. karrigan looking to come up here and stop before he can get that down on the ground. He takes a long path through semi, and Houghton's going to take the duel. Going to get up to his face, but karrigan wins it, and TSM will start things off here well in the second half as well. They're going to pick up the pistol, and now they'll get their opportunity to bring the lead swiftly into their favor and to try to close out this map without any more aggression coming up from GreyFace, but GreyFace not going to take that without a battle coming up here in the second round. And if we do see another chance for the T's to eco, exactly as we saw in the previous half, GreyFace could very easily swing themselves back into this game now. We'll see the bot coming from these guys, everybody picking up armor, everybody picking up an upgraded pistol, and probably going to see a swift take onto that B site too as soon as they get everybody in position for it. They'll keep Jumpy back over here just to catch up and watch out for any aggression that would come over here towards short A. So specifically, he's looking out for dupreeh right now, but dupreeh's going to move away from this one. Not sure if he's going to catch device, though. He does see the head, but unfortunately device is a little bit too quick on the trigger, so he's going to be able to take him down. The rest of the team trying to make their way over here into that B site, but they're smoked off right now. And with all the noise they've made, this should be an easily predictable push that's coming out, and there's going to be cajunb, finds the opening kill, but BARBARR quickly able to respond. Now device still getting himself into a position. He can't connect that spray over onto BARBARR, so he's actually going to be able to survive for the time being as the rest of the members of GreyFace. They're going to fall back a little bit, give TSM a little bit more room, and I think trying to rotate themselves over onto the A site, but overall not really expecting too much else to come out from them this round. Probably going to be an 11th pickup for TSM unless we could see a miraculous turnaround. They are going to work their way over here into the playground, and I imagine they'll shift their perspective to try and get themselves over on the long A and then just rush it up from that point, but like I've said already, TSM should basically be ready for this potentiality as well. Device just keeping his eyes down a connector for now in case they do a double take and work their way back down to the B site, but now they've caught him. There's dupreeh with 2 more frags, and unfortunately for Houghton, the bomb is already going to be onto the ground at this point. He'll work his way down to see if he can catch anybody, but nobody's overexposed. The bomb is even back up at party too, so it's going to be very hard to pick that up, and he just walks into a trap essentially to end that round a little bit quicker, so dupreeh will take him down. TSM again find their advantage here. And that was the important thing, was to make it through that second round, of course, because with the Tech 9 armor vibes and whatnot, that can still be very potent on the T side, and if those players aren't really ready for that, then we can easily see a shutdown coming out from that T side. They switch it up, as we saw in the first half there, where we saw GreyFace picking up their CT-sided pistol, and then they respond to it. Now that they're going to miss that opportunity, they just have to go for, you know, pretty light buy here on the third round so that they can afford the fourth. They also missed their chance too, I should mention, to get that plan on the first round. If you remember correctly, it was Houghton, I think, that was trying to clutch that one out. And Houghton had a chance to just go right in and get the plant, but he chose not to in order to take the duel. Had they have done that, and had they have not really bought in that second round there, then we could have seen these players go for a buy in the third round to force it up a little bit more. And they got a couple kills, so it could have worked out great. But in hindsight, of course, they wouldn't have had all those guns. And obviously it would have made that round a little bit more like this one, where TSM are essentially just going to run over these guys. But now we're past that. We're past that very awkward round for these players. And now for GreyFace, they're going to be able to get the guns back into their hands. And we'll see just what they can do on their T side now that they're armed up with a full arsenal at this point. So now cajunb is going to find the opening shot over there onto Dave's as the rest of the team tries to press their way over here onto short A as well. See here that dupreeh trying to catch out some of these guys as well. Not spotting him yet, but Houghton gonna see if he can catch him, but unfortunately, a quick kill comes out from dupreeh. That's gonna be able to take him down. Looking for a second one on the bar, and he's gonna catch that too. So a lot of the offense, unfortunately, goes by the wayside. They should be able to tell the push is coming here, but there's Jumpy at the very least, picking up a kill over the members of GreyFace now. Now, off of the hands of this one, they're gonna try to shift things back down to B, but Xyp9x is already inside there, and he's gonna molly things off. They won't be able to push in through that avenue. And for GreyFace, unfortunately, just not getting a whole lot of luck here, trying to get themselves out onto the site. Jumpy's gonna flash down, but he gets flashed too, and then we see those two get into a battle. Thankfully, Jumpy gets the better end of the flash trade, and he's gonna end up picking up a second kill for himself. dupreeh, in the meantime, trades out an additional one for TSM, as he's going to be able to find cajunb back down on lower there, so they eliminate him, and now it's just dupreeh who is gonna have to try and work for a flank on these players, as he is gonna leave cajunb sort of out in the open now. As the push comes in towards that A site, he's trying to look for a flank, but he has to watch out for the B push too, as that's kind of been left open. But on the way in here, cajunb is going to spot them, and now we have to see dupreeh, who, interestingly enough, is not going to open up a flank opportunity. He just kind of goes directly over towards the B site and is going to try to catch these players. Pauf will be the final player left alive for GreyFace. Look at 8 seconds left. He gets into a duel with cajunb, but cajunb will end up coming out on top, and they're going to shut him down. And by the way, folks, I am pronouncing his name Houghton, because that is what 3 or 4 Swedish people have told me to pronounce it. I am not Swedish, and it's not Skyton, because it is Swedish, and apparently like SKY is pronounced like HUE or something like that in Swedish. If there is a Swedish person in the chat, and if the dialect is off, please correct me on that. But as far as I've been told, it's Houghton. dupreeh in the meantime gonna line things up here in this round by opening it up with 2 frags. Device finding one for himself there too. BARBARR at the very least picking up that opening kill there as he takes down dupreeh. And then BARBARR and Jumpy are going to be the final two alive now for GreyFace. They're not going to be able to catch anything. Xyp9x is going to be able to come up and try to crush him, and that's going to be a very swift end of the round. TSM coming up on top here, and that is going to shut it down very quickly. So now we go on to the final round, or potentially what could be the final gun round here of this matchup at this point. As GreyFace, unfortunately, they're not going to be left with not a whole lot of money left in excess now. They're going to have to go for the 4 AK buy. The op over here on BARBARR as well, so they've got a little bit more stopping power, which we haven't really been able to see the op bought up this half very well at all. But for the members here of TSM, they've obviously got a lot of money left in excess. And we can see them just try to go very aggressive. Already Xyp9x catching 2 of them. BARBARR getting another one here as well. Finally doing some work with the op at least, but unfortunately it's traded back out by the members of TSM, and cajunb finding an additional one here too. So for Houghton along with BARBARR, they're going to have to try to work this takeover here from the lower tunnels, but unfortunately not a whole lot left they can do. And this is what the big worry was for me too when we transitioned into this, the second half, was just the fact that unfortunately for the members of GreyFace is that, yeah, they're doing a good job on CT side trying to hold things there, but on T side obviously working against an already solidified hold there from the members of TSM. And GoTV just skipped for me, so I apologize. We missed the end of the round sort of, but overall here too, it was the problem is that their T side just is not really formed up very well at all here. I mean, imagine they're calling very default sort of strats and whatnot, just not really doing anything super duper advanced. So unfortunately, that leaves these guys very easy to find out from the members of TSM. So it's going to allow a shutdown to essentially happen here. And already there's going to be Device finding another kill, takes down BARBARR. And they're going to try to push themselves forward here, too, to try to essentially finish things off for these players. They're going to move in. Cajunb, I don't know why GoTV switched to third person, but dupreeh's going to be able to catch Cajunb out in the open here. And already GreyFace, their final players have basically just been split up at this point. Houghton's going to end up going down. And now it's just Jumpy and pauf who are completely split up. They have no control over the bomb. cajunb is going to miss his shots over here on a pauf initially, so pauf will find at least 1 kill there. But dupreeh finds the other one, and now they know where pauf is, so this map is pretty much over at this point. TSM should be able to claim it, and then that's going to be the end of it from this point forward. So I imagine TSM should have no trouble. I don't think we'll see an amazing play from pauf as much as we want to see it. Although finds 1 kill, it's gonna do. Oh wait, I might be wrong on this one. He finds a third over on the dupreeh, but now he's out of 5 HP. The pop flash comes out, not really gonna hit anything off of that one, but showing off his bounce skills there as he bounces it off the spools. And now there's karrigan. Alright, karrigan shuts it down. That's going to be the end of it, guys. 16-6 is the first map score. We're going to be right back in just a few minutes with map number 2, which is going to be over on Dust 2. So stick around for that one, and we'll be right back with more of the StarLadder StarSeries Season 14 presented by iLeague in just a few moments.